5 minutes.
Alan,
Most tools, yeah.
the sortie parting tool that has the flute or the hollow ground.
Oh, you mean the Nick Cook tool, parting tool?
I don't know if it's Nick Cook.
It's similar to this guy, but longer handle. It's got a little groove in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That groove is supposed to be down.
Yeah.
Okay. The problem I had is that tends to be a very sharp edge right on the tool rest when I'm trying to use it. Am I using that correctly with the flute?
Yeah, I haven't used one. I just bought one, so I can't really answer your question. It's still in the bag. Terry can answer it.
On that part there, two ways. When we made our homes 25, 30 years ago, we wanted to let the groove go so far back.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now you got one, just a piece of brazing rod that matches the radius of the groove, secure the brazing rod and let that right on your tool rest.
Excellent.
The rest slides very nicely on the cast iron if you don't screw it up.
Excellent idea. Great story. Okay.
Now, there's a wonderful tool out there. This is called a scoogee. They didn't get it right. It's really supposed to be made out of solid bar stock. This is Alan Leland's version. And it's ground down to the halfway point. What they've done is they've used thin steel, so when you're more than an inch off the tool rest, this scoogee will flat. Whereas this one is half round bar stock, doesn't flat. Now this guy will be the same cut as a skew gouge. Worst thing it does is it scrapes. Very forgiving tool. The same way with this one. You make your own. I plugged to a belt sanding station that I have, and I just laid it up against the belt sander and I ground it until it was at that halfway point. You got to get at least to the halfway point. If you don't get all the way to the halfway point, it curves back this way. You won't get your edge. Will never touch. It'll be a convex bevel, and you can't get the edge in. So you got to get at least to the halfway point, maybe a little bit beyond. And then you just grind the front, just like you would a spin gouge. And they work great. They're easy to make. It's just hard to find a big steel.
Do you have any trouble with them skating more like a skew will do over a bowl?
Yeah, I wouldn't use this in a bowl, but I've never had any problems with these guys.
Skating.
And then, I've made one out of 1/4 inch bar where I just laid it on the grinding wheel. That's how I used to make them. And it only grinds it back a little bit, and you have to keep constantly going back and putting it in. And this one, the 1/4 inch one's just too small. It's not very useful. Maybe when I start doing miniatures, it might be useful. But doing regular spindle work, it doesn't help me a bit. These are fairly easy to make.
You use it like a spindle gun?
Yeah, I use it just like a spindle gun. Yeah, it's very forgiving. Phenomenal tool. I don't use it that much because I forget I have them. And I've made those box tools in box skews in different sizes. And they're pretty good. The only thing I didn't show you is how to use a skew, and we're not going to have time to do that, but that's okay. We'll do that in another demo or something. So I guess I'll ask, anybody got more questions?
What's your take on the belt sander sharpening
The belt sander
craze?
sharpening? I think it's probably fine. I've never tried it, so I don't know, but a lot of turners out there are using it and have good success. I'm used to using a grinder, and I don't need another tool. Although I have bought one of those sharpening things, or whatever it is.
The wheel, flat wheel?
The flat wheel. That's nice. It's $200, but it's nice. But I haven't used it on my turning tools. I've been using it on my winter chair tools. Somebody else had those.
Yeah, any tricks with a oval skew?
Yeah, he's asking about the oval skew. And that's where the side is oval. I don't really like those because when you lay it on the plate to sharpen it, it rocks back and forth. And I don't really see the advantage to them, but Nick Cook loves it. I'm not sure why. He didn't really explain to me why he likes it better than the flat one.
When you're rolling over.
Yeah, I find that it's harder to control for me, but I might not have the right technique to put into time. And speaking of that, one of the things the manufacturers is we like to ease. This is a square rectangular bar. We like to ease these edges so they don't dig into the tool rest and stick. And what they did is they put a whole radius on here. And what happens when you try to roll a bead with a radius is it rolls on you. The tool slides on you. You need to be able to pivot off an edge. So I really don't like a radius skew. I like a nice rectangular bar stock. And I ease the edges. And on any tool I have that has a sharp edge, as long as that edge is not part of the cutting edge, I'll ease it so it doesn't stick on the tool list. Any other questions? Hopefully you learned a lot here. I gave you a lot of information, and there's no one right way to do this sharpening, and there's no one right way to do woodworking. There's some wrong ways, you don't want to do those. But there's a lot of different ways you can grind these tools, and these are just the ways I found that work for me, and what I do, and I'm always learning. So if you have anything to point out to me, I'm willing to learn it. Well, Terry gives me too much information. I forget half of it. Well, I hope you got something out of it, and hopefully the handout will work for y'all. It was fun, and I guess we've got the